Buff Nation, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Is Jordan Seaton a substantial upgrade over Jared Christian Lichtenhand for this year? I'm going to say yes, no doubt. Even though he's a true freshman, I think we're going to get noticeably a better left tackle play than what we saw last year. And we're going to see that play consist across the offensive line in terms of better play, right? I did my prediction video on my expectations for Brandon Davis Swain for his true freshman year. I think that he's going to be uh, playing a nice reserve / rotational role. But for Jordan Seaton, what I'm expecting is for him to play a significant role on this offense. I mean, that's why we brought him in here as a 5-star plus freshman. He's going to start. I would expect that he plays around that 900 or so snaps, give or take a handful. He's going to enter in week 1 against North Dakota State as that full-time starter. But what happens after that? What are my expectations? What are your expectations? Let me know in the comments. Of course, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. But I wanted to show some different comparisons on some other true freshmen that have come in and started recently for their schools at the left tackle position, and what might we expect. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I'll share this, and then I'll get to my expectations for Jordan Seaton. So this right here, what we're looking at is the stat line for Caden Proctor, starting left tackle for the Alabama Crimson Tide as a true freshman this past year. And as you can see, I'll circle it right here. You saw him give up 12 sacks. He definitely did struggle throughout. Let me increase the thickness on this. You saw him struggle throughout the first half of the season, but then you saw him really get it together in the final stretch, only allowing 2 sacks in 5 games, and 23 quarterback hurries is not bad. Of course, you don't want to see half of your hurries converted into sacks, but overall in the pass protection, I thought that he took a step in the second half that a lot of people were expecting, and he showed signs of that true 5-star plus left tackle he was coming into his true freshman season. So, and even with that, you saw him be serviceable, in my opinion, be a good run blocker as a true freshman in the SEC. And while you don't want to see that grade of 58.8, again, like I said, you saw him get better throughout his season, and I think that he's going to be that solid, not franchise, but cornerstone for the program that the Alabama Crimson Tide were hoping for now that he's back at Alabama after a short little flirtation with the University of Iowa. Let's take a look at maybe somebody that we could be playing at some point in the Big 12 from the Miami Hurricanes. Okay. Francis Mauigoa. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Coach Hayes, you got to let me know. Started as a true freshman this past year in the ACC. Again, Caden Proctor starting as a true freshman left tackle in the SEC, giving up 12 sacks. That makes sense. What do you see with Mauigoa coming in as a first-time starter, true freshman starter at right tackle, for the Miami Hurricanes? Gave up 5 sacks, 23 pressures, 15 hurries, and one thing that I just wanted to point out was he was very serviceable in the run game. 70.7 run blocking grade as a true freshman, and still, had a great pass blocking grade for a true freshman, 64.8. Again, only giving up 5 sacks. Okay, it's a true freshman playing for Miami. Now let's go back a year, right? And take a look at a 5-star freshman that started at left tackle for the Texas Longhorns a couple years ago and started, of course, for them again this year. And that is Kelvin Banks Jr., 6'4", 324 pounds, 5-star freshman. Started 558 snaps total throughout his freshman campaign, true freshman campaign. Gave up 2 sacks, as you can see down here in the stat line. 2 sacks in only 12 pressures. That's really, really nice in the Big 12. Then you saw him take another step forward in terms of sacks, cutting them in half, only giving up 1 and the same amount of pressures his sophomore campaign. So I think it's very realistic that these 5-star rated tackles can come in and play pretty well, I think, all things considered, at as a starting offensive lineman as a true freshman. So that's what I'm going to be expecting for Jordan Seaton. Now, last year, our tackles, Jared Christian Lichtenhan, as well as Savion Washington, gave up. Savion gave up 4 sacks, and Jared Christian Lichtenhan gave up 7 sacks, respectively, and a handful more pressures, a ton more pressures. That's the biggest thing that I want to see Jordan Seaton limiting. Okay. But I think looking at his kind of what we've seen from the offensive line in the past, what we've seen other high caliber freshmen do, I I'm I'm expecting Jordan Seaton to give up less sacks than what we saw from Jared Christian Lichtenhan this past year, which was 7. What I'm going to set the line at, I guess, for my expectation is 6. So that's cutting Caden Proctor's performance in half. That's kind of right along the lines that we saw Francis Mauigoa perform at for the Miami Hurricanes last year. Granted, that was the right tackle position, but I think it could kind of be somewhere around that range. Hey, if you're giving up a sack every other game or so as a true freshman, I'm going to say you're in line to have a very good career as an offensive lineman. But I will say it would not surprise me if we see something like what we saw from Kelvin Banks Jr. during his freshman year campaign with the Texas Longhorns, only giving up 2 sacks. Would not surprise me. The biggest thing that I want to see from a PFF grades perspective, and of course, take all this with a grain of salt. A lot of this has to do with how the rest of their line is performing as well, their communication, all of that, which Coach Loadholt's going to have these guys communicating, knowing their assignments, no doubt. But, my hope is that we see Jordan Seaton graded at that mid-60s level and above when it comes to both the run blocking and the pass blocking. I think that he can definitely achieve that. But even if he were to have some sort of start similar to what we saw from Caden Proctor, which again, I'm not expecting as the Buffs are not in the SEC, but let's just say that happens. The biggest thing for me is, okay, maybe he gets beat on some pass rushes every now and then. The biggest thing that I want to see him coming out from the get-go and showing a competent ability at is communication with the left guard. Will that be Justin Mayers or somebody else? We'll have to see how it happens with fall camp. I'm guessing it will be Justin Mayers as he played left guard. I'm kind of forgetting offhand the alignment of our guards right now. You guys can remind me in the comments, but communicating well, for instance, with Justin Mayers, being able to switch on stunts, being able to understand when Shedeur or somebody else might be shifting the protection and understanding his assignment, doing that as directed. Those are the things that I really want to see. I don't want to see a ton of mental errors or anything like that. We know he's got the physical ability to be a really, really, really good tackle for us for years to come. There might be some ups and downs with that as a true freshman, but the thing that I want to see, hopefully, is minimizing the mental mistakes. That's really what I want to see. And if there's anything with his technique that he needs to work and fine tune, I know that Coach Loadholt, I am confident that he's going to get him to the position where he's able to perform at his highest level. So, y'all let me know your thoughts. What are your expectations for Jordan Seaton this year? Do you have kind of like an over-under or a line that you're setting at in terms of different statistics you want to see from him? Just let me know. But overall, I think Jordan Seaton, to answer the initial question, is a substantial grade over, or is a substantial upgrade rather over Jared Christian Lichtenhan, no doubt. And I think we're going to see the offensive line do just fine this year. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate you guys as always. Sco Buffs.